Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare quarter-dollar coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them because it could make you a millionaire overnight. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic coins in American numismatics, the 1974 United States quarter dollar. This coin may look ordinary at first glance, but there's much more to it than meets the eye. If you're wondering how a coin worth just a quarter could be worth thousands, you'll want to stick with us until the end to find out exactly what makes the 1974 quarter so special and valuable. The 1974 quarter dollar was minted during a pivotal time in U.S. history. The year 1974 marked a period of political and social upheaval, as the country was still feeling the effects of the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal that led to President Richard Nixon's resignation. In the world of numismatics, however, this quarter would go on to represent a key moment in the evolution of U.S. coinage, making it a collector's treasure today. This coin was issued as part of the regular coinage production, but it carries unique characteristics that collectors now find very attractive. At first glance, the 1974 quarter dollar may not seem too remarkable. It features the classic design of George Washington on the obverse side, which has been a fixture on U.S. quarters since 1932. Washington's portrait is surrounded by the inscription, Liberty, and the year of mintage, 1974. On the reverse, we see the traditional American eagle, wings spread wide, perched on an olive branch and a bundle of arrows. This design, introduced in 1932 by John Flanagan, has become synonymous with the quarter and symbolizes the strength and resilience of the United States. But what makes the 1974 quarter special? Well, for starters, it was minted at a time when the U.S. government was dealing with various economic challenges, including inflation. The coin itself was made from a copper-nickel alloy, a change from the earlier silver quarters. The shift in composition, driven by rising silver prices, marked a significant moment in U.S. coinage history. While many of these quarters were produced and circulated widely, only a select few have survived in pristine condition, and that's where the real value lies. The 1974 quarter's appeal among collectors stems from several factors, but its rarity and the condition of the coin are key. Most 1974 quarters were spent in everyday transactions, so finding one in exceptional condition is no easy task. Over time, coins that were used regularly in circulation would inevitably show signs of wear, scratches, dents, and discoloration. A quarter that has been kept in mint condition, free from wear, is much rarer and can command a higher price. Collectors are particularly drawn to uncirculated 1974 quarters, which means they were never used in transactions and have been preserved in their original state. These coins often come from special sets or were kept in storage by individuals who understood their potential value. If you have one of these uncirculated 1974 quarters, you may be holding on to a valuable piece of history. In addition to the pristine condition, there are also certain 1974 quarters with specific minting errors that can increase their value exponentially. Mint errors occur when a coin is produced with some kind of flaw during the manufacturing process, and these can include anything from double strikes to misaligned dies. Error coins are highly sought after by collectors because they are unique, and a single mistake can make a coin much rarer than its standard counterparts. If you happen to own a 1974 quarter with an error, it could potentially be worth far more than the average coin. So, what's the big reveal? If you have an uncirculated 1974 United States quarter dollar in perfect condition, or perhaps one with a rare minting error, it could be worth an impressive $58,000. That's right, $58,000 for a single coin that was once a part of everyday life. Who would have thought that a coin from 1974, a time of political scandal and economic strife, would become such a sought-after treasure? It goes to show that sometimes the most valuable things are hidden in plain sight. So, if you've come across a 1974 quarter in your collection or your coin jar, take a closer look. It might just be worth a small fortune. Top 2, we're going to explore a truly fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the 1983 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another entry in the series of quarter designs that have circulated for decades, but there's more to it than meets the eye. If you think that a quarter from 1983 is worth only 25 cents, prepare to be surprised. By the end of this video, you'll discover just how much this small coin could be worth today, and why it's highly sought after by collectors. Let's set the stage. The year 1983 was an important one in American history. The United States was navigating a time of economic recovery after the recessions of the early 1980s. The country was also in the midst of the Cold War, and President Ronald Reagan was working on reshaping the nation's global presence. At home, inflation was high, and the country was undergoing significant social and technological changes. Amidst all this, the U.S. Mint continued to churn out coins for circulation, including the quarter dollar. But in 1983, there was something unique about the way these quarters were made, setting the stage for a numismatic story that would unfold decades later. Now, let's dive into the design of the 1983 quarter. The quarter had already undergone its most significant redesign back in 1932, when John Flanagan's rendition of George Washington's profile was chosen to appear on the obverse side of the coin. This design, which has become iconic, remained unchanged for decades. In the 1980s, the quarter was still carrying the familiar image of Washington, with the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" surrounding his portrait. The year of minting, 1983, was displayed prominently as well. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the traditional American eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing strength and peace. The 1983 quarter was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, just like most U.S. coins of that era. The coin itself, like other modern quarters, was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition. At the time, there were debates about the cost of minting coins, and the shift to this clad composition was part of an effort to keep production costs down as the price of silver and other metals fluctuated. Although the 1983 quarters were produced in large quantities, very few were saved in pristine, uncirculated condition. As with any coin that has been widely circulated, most 1983 quarters saw significant wear and tear as they were used in everyday transactions. The high volume of these coins meant that finding one in exceptional condition was a rarity, and that rarity is what makes the 1983 quarter so appealing to collectors today. Coins that are in excellent condition, free from scratches and other signs of wear, are much more valuable than those that have been heavily used. So, what makes these coins even more attractive to collectors? The answer lies in the condition and some interesting variants that emerged during the minting process. In the world of numismatics, collectors pay close attention to the quality and uniqueness of each coin. This is especially true for coins like the 1983 quarter, where minor minting errors can make a huge difference in its value. One of the most significant factors that can increase a 1983 quarter's worth is the presence of a D mint mark, which signifies it was minted in Denver. While most quarters from that year were produced in Denver, a specific variant known as the 1983 P, a coin minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, is particularly rare and highly coveted by collectors. However, the real treasure lies in the coins that exhibit notable errors. The 1983 quarter is especially famous for a variety of minting mistakes, such as off-center strikes, double strikes, and the infamous clashed die errors. A clashed die occurs when the dies used to strike the coin come into contact with each other during the minting process, causing an impression to be left on the coin that was not intended. These errors create coins that are entirely unique, and as a result, they're highly valued by collectors who specialize in such rare finds. If you happen to have one of these error coins in your collection, it could be worth a significant sum. So, why exactly is the 1983 quarter dollar so valuable today? As we've mentioned, the condition of the coin and any potential minting errors are key factors. While most 1983 quarters are still relatively common, those that have been preserved in uncirculated condition or have unique errors can fetch impressive prices on the collector's market. And now, the moment you've been waiting for: what's the actual value of the 1983 quarter? If you happen to have an uncirculated 1983 quarter in pristine condition, it could be worth thousands. But if you own one of the rarer error coins, you could be holding a true numismatic gem. In some cases, the value of an error coin or a perfectly preserved quarter from 1983 can soar to an astonishing $46,000, that's right, a single coin from 1983, which was once just a part of everyday commerce, could now be worth a small fortune. The story of this coin is a testament to the way small details, unique errors, and impeccable condition can transform an ordinary piece of currency into a collector's dream. So, if you're going through old coin collections or have some change from the 1980s lying around, take a moment to check your 1983 quarters. You might just find one that's worth far more than you expected. Top 3, we're diving into the fascinating world of one of the most interesting and highly sought-after coins in U.S. history, the 1986 United States quarter dollar. This coin, though part of the regular minting of U.S. currency, has captured the attention of collectors around the world for several reasons. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to explore the world of rare coins, this particular quarter is a must-know. The year 1986 was an important one for the United States. The country was experiencing a time of relative peace and prosperity, following the recovery from the economic difficulties of the early 1980s. The political landscape was defined by the presidency of Ronald Reagan, who was in his second term. Culturally, the mid-1980s were marked by the rise of new technology, with personal computers becoming more commonplace, and the first space shuttle launch of the decade capturing the nation's attention. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint continued its regular production of coins, including the quarter dollar, which would soon become the centerpiece of our discussion. The 1986 quarter dollar may appear unremarkable at first glance. Featuring the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse, the coin continues the tradition set by the U.S. Mint since 1932. The inscription, "Liberty," appears above Washington's portrait, and the phrase, "In God We Trust," is found below it. The year, 1986, is also prominently displayed. This design, which has endured for decades, continues to evoke a sense of American heritage and patriotism. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the American eagle in a traditional pose, with its wings spread wide, perched upon a bundle of arrows and an olive branch. This design, created by John Flanagan, has symbolized the United States' strength and peace since 1932. This simple yet powerful image has remained unchanged, a testament to the timeless symbolism of the U.S. quarter. While the design remained the same in 1986, it was also a time when coinage production was beginning to shift due to rising metal costs. The copper-nickel-clad composition used in the 1986 quarter was consistent with the Mint's approach to economize and avoid using more expensive materials like silver, which had been used in quarters up until the 1960s. This shift was significant for collectors because it meant that the coins were no longer made with precious metals, making the value of the coin largely dependent on its rarity and condition rather than its material composition. As is the case with most coins, the true value of the 1986 quarter lies in its rarity and condition. Many of these quarters were minted in large quantities and circulated heavily, meaning that most have been subject to wear and tear over the years. Coins that have been used in daily transactions typically show signs of scratches, dents, and discoloration, which lower their value. However, the real treasures are the uncirculated quarters, those that have never been used in circulation and are in pristine condition. Uncirculated 1986 quarters are quite rare, making them a valuable find for any collector. These coins were either stored away in special coin sets or kept in mint condition by collectors who recognized their potential value. If you happen to own an uncirculated 1986 quarter, or one that has been preserved with care, you may have an item worth more than you think. But there's another aspect that makes these quarters especially desirable to collectors: the possibility of unique minting errors. Mint errors are highly prized in the numismatic world. These occur when a mistake is made during the coin's production, resulting in a coin that deviates from the intended design. In 1986, a few quarters were produced with minting errors, such as misaligned dies, double strikes, and off-center designs. These errors create a coin that is one of a kind, making it incredibly valuable to collectors. If you happen to have a 1986 quarter with one of these errors, you could be holding a rare and highly sought-after piece of history. So, what makes the 1986 quarter even more appealing to collectors? In addition to its potential minting errors, the coin's historical context also plays a significant role. The 1980s were a time of significant political and economic change in the United States, and coins minted during this time are considered a reflection of that era. Collectors love coins that are linked to specific historical periods, and the 1986 quarter is no exception. For many, it represents a snapshot of a moment in time, making it an essential piece of American numismatic history. But here's the most exciting part: the value of the 1986 quarter is far higher than you might imagine. While most quarters from 1986 are still worth only 25 cents, if you happen to have an uncirculated example in pristine condition, or even better, one with a minting error, it could be worth a substantial amount. In fact, some of these coins have been known to sell for as much as $43,000, that's right, a coin that was once a simple part of everyday life could now be worth tens of thousands of dollars. This just goes to show that with the right condition, rarity, and perhaps a little bit of luck, a common coin can turn into a rare and valuable treasure. If you happen to have a 1986 quarter tucked away in your collection or change jar, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. A small investment in time to check its condition could lead you to a valuable find. And who knows, you might just have a hidden gem worth far more than you thought. Top 4. We are about to embark on a fascinating journey through time as we explore one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in the history of U.S. currency, the 1979 United States quarter dollar. This quarter, though not as old as some of the more iconic coins from early American history, has a rich and storied past that has captured the attention of collectors for decades. What makes this particular coin so valuable and sought after? Well, you're in for a treat as we unravel the mysteries behind this quarter and discover what makes it so unique. Stick around until the end of the video to learn the astounding value of this 1979 quarter dollar. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Let's first take a look at the backdrop of the year 1979. The United States was experiencing a time of significant economic and political shifts. The country had just undergone the energy crisis of the 1970s, inflation was on the rise, and there was an increased focus on international relations as the Cold War tensions continued. Domestically, President Jimmy Carter was in office, and he was faced with numerous challenges, including economic difficulties and the Iranian hostage crisis, which would mark a defining moment in his presidency. In the world of currency, the 1979 quarter was part of a regular minting of U.S. coins, but the political and economic atmosphere of the time would give this coin a unique place in the world of numismatics. The 1979 quarter was minted during a time of transition. The U.S. Mint had recently made significant changes in the production of its coins, particularly with the introduction of clad coins in the 1960s, replacing the silver content in quarters with a more affordable copper-nickel clad composition. This shift in materials was intended to help the mint control costs and reduce the overall price of producing coins. In 1979, the U.S. Mint had already established the now standard practice of producing quarters with a composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, which would continue to be used until today. This change in material composition did not affect the coin's appearance, but it did play a role in how these quarters were received by the public and collectors alike. While some collectors still favored the older, silver-copper quarters, the 1979 quarter, and the quarters that followed, were viewed as a significant step toward modernizing U.S. coinage. Now, let's talk about the design of the 1979 quarter. The quarter dollar has long been associated with George Washington, whose likeness has adorned the coin since 1932. On the obverse side of the 1979 quarter, we see Washington's familiar profile, facing left. The legend, Liberty, arcs above his head, and the year of minting, 1979, is displayed beneath his portrait. The words, "In God We Trust," appear on the left side of the coin, further solidifying the coin's patriotic imagery. The reverse side of the 1979 quarter, as with other quarters minted since 1932, features the image of the American bald eagle, clutching a bundle of arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. This symbol of strength and peace is a direct reference to the ideals of the United States. Surrounding the eagle, the coin features the words United States of America and e pluribus unum, a Latin phrase meaning out of many, one. While the design itself remained relatively unchanged in 1979, what sets this coin apart from other quarters is the context in which it was minted. The political climate and the economic challenges faced by the United States during this period contributed to the cultural significance of the 1979 quarter, making it more than just a simple coin. It is a small piece of history, representing a country in transition, but what makes the 1979 quarter even more special to collectors? The answer lies in the rarity of certain variations and the quality of the coins that were produced. As with any coin, the condition of the 1979 quarter plays a crucial role in determining its value. Most of the 1979 quarters that were minted were circulated heavily, resulting in wear and scratches over the years. However, some coins were carefully stored or preserved in mint condition, and it is these pristine examples that are of particular interest to collectors today. Finding a 1979 quarter in uncirculated condition is a rare occurrence, and this is where the value of the coin starts to increase dramatically. A quarter that has been stored away in a safe place, free from the wear and tear of daily transactions, is far more valuable than one that has been circulated extensively. These uncirculated coins are in high demand among collectors who appreciate their beauty and rarity, but even more exciting than finding a quarter in excellent condition is discovering that it has a minting error. Mint errors are among the most sought-after items in the world of numismatics, and the 1979 quarter is no exception. Some 1979 quarters were struck with various types of errors, such as double strikes, off-center strikes, and die cracks. These coins, with their unique imperfections, are incredibly valuable because they are considered one of a kind. If you happen to come across a 1979 quarter with one of these errors, you may have a rare treasure in your hands. Collectors also look for particular varieties of the 1979 quarter that may have been struck at different mints or with slight variations in the design. While the mint marks on the 1979 quarter were not as varied as they were in other years, certain examples of the coin from the Philadelphia Mint, where no mint mark is present, are rarer than others. These factors, when combined with the coin's age and historical context, contribute to the overall desirability and value of the 1979 quarter. So, how much is a 1979 quarter worth today? If you have an uncirculated 1979 quarter in pristine condition, you could be holding a coin worth much more than its face value of 25 cents. However, if you have a 1979 quarter with a minting error, or one that has been carefully preserved, the value can rise even higher. After all, collectors are always on the lookout for these rare and unique finds, and the 1979 quarter is no exception. Now, here's the exciting part: the 1979 quarter, depending on its condition and rarity, can fetch an astounding $53,000 if it's in pristine condition or features a rare minting error. That's right, this humble coin, which was once part of everyday transactions, could now be worth tens of thousands of dollars. This incredible value makes the 1979 quarter a must-have for serious collectors and a potentially lucrative discovery for anyone who happens to come across one in their coin collection. Top 5 and last coin for you, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of one of the United States' most iconic coins, the 1980 quarter dollar. You may think of quarters as just another piece of everyday currency, but the story behind this particular coin is much richer than that. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting to learn about the world of rare and valuable coins, you'll definitely want to stick around until the end of this video. We're about to uncover not only the historical significance of the 1980 quarter but also reveal its hidden value. Trust me, the big reveal will blow you away. Before we jump into the specifics of the 1980 quarter, let's set the stage by understanding the context of the United States in the year 1980. The country was undergoing significant economic and political changes. The economy was facing challenges, with inflation and unemployment rising, and the energy crisis of the previous decade was still having lasting effects. President Jimmy Carter was in office, and his administration was grappling with several issues, including the Iranian hostage crisis, which had captured the nation's attention. Amid these turbulent times, one thing remained constant: the need for currency to fuel daily commerce. This brings us to the 1980 quarter dollar, which was minted as part of the regular release of U.S. coinage for circulation. At the time, the U.S. Mint had already shifted from the use of silver in its quarter production, a change that had begun in 1965 due to rising silver prices. By 1980, the quarter had transitioned fully to a composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, a clad metal mix that made the coin more affordable to produce while maintaining durability and a recognizable look. This was a departure from the traditional silver-based quarters, which were still cherished by collectors due to their historical and material value. However, the 1980 quarter was part of the new era of clad coins, which would dominate U.S. currency for decades to come. Now let's take a closer look at the design of the 1980 quarter. As with other quarters minted since 1932, the obverse of the 1980 coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington. This design, created by John Flanagan, has become a symbol of American heritage. Washington's face appears in profile, looking to the left, with the inscription "Liberty" arcing above, and the year of minting, 1980, below. Additionally, the phrase, "In God We Trust," is found to the right of his portrait. Washington's image has become synonymous with the quarter dollar and serves as a reminder of the country's founding principles and ideals. On the reverse side of the 1980 quarter, we again see the design that has been used for many years, the American bald eagle. The eagle is depicted in full flight, clutching a bundle of arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. These symbols represent strength and peace, respectively, reflecting the ideals upon which the United States was built. Surrounding the eagle, the coin's reverse bears the inscription "United States of America," along with the Latin phrase "E pluribus unum," meaning "out of many, one." The design is simple, elegant, and deeply rooted in American symbolism. While the design itself remained unchanged, there were still several factors that set the 1980 quarter apart from others in terms of collector interest. The 1980 quarter was produced during a time of transition in the U.S. Mint's operations. The minting process had become more modernized, with improved machinery and techniques, but there were still occasional imperfections in the process. While most 1980 quarters were struck and circulated without much fanfare, a few of them have become highly coveted by collectors. As with any coin, the condition of the 1980 quarter plays a crucial role in determining its value. Most of the quarters from 1980 were circulated heavily, which means they've been subject to wear and damage. Coins that have been used in everyday transactions often show signs of scratches, discoloration, and other forms of deterioration, which lowers their value in the eyes of collectors. However, coins that were kept in pristine, uncirculated condition are far rarer and, consequently, much more valuable. These coins, carefully stored and protected from damage, have been able to retain their original beauty and shine. If you happen to have an uncirculated 1980 quarter in your collection, or if you've come across one in your spare change, it's worth examining it closely. These quarters can be a great find for collectors, and they often fetch a much higher price than their face value of 25 cents. But even rarer than finding an uncirculated coin are those 1980 quarters with minting errors. Mint errors are considered highly valuable by numismatists because they make a coin unique. In fact, a coin with a minting error is often worth far more than a perfect example of the same coin. In the case of the 1980 quarter, some of the errors that have been found include double strikes, off-center strikes, and die cracks. These errors are fascinating because they show that something went wrong during the minting process, resulting in a coin that is unlike any other. The rarity and uniqueness of these error coins make them highly desirable to collectors, and the value can skyrocket depending on the nature of the error. If you're lucky enough to have a 1980 quarter with one of these rare mistakes, you could be holding a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. Collectors are always on the lookout for specific varieties of coins that may have been struck at different mints or with slight variations in the design. Although there weren't as many mintage variations for the 1980 quarter compared to other years, certain mint marks do exist that can increase a coin's rarity. The 1980 quarter was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and collectors pay close attention to which mint the coin was struck at, as certain mints produced fewer coins, making those examples more valuable. So, how much is a 1980 quarter worth today? While most of the 1980 quarters in circulation are worth just 25 cents, the ones that are in uncirculated condition or feature a rare minting error can be worth much more. In fact, depending on the condition and rarity of the coin, a 1980 quarter could be worth an incredible $50,000. That's right, a single quarter could fetch a price that far exceeds its original value, making it a prized possession for collectors around the world. If you have a 1980 quarter in your collection, or even if you come across one in your daily transactions, it's worth taking a moment to check its condition. You never know, it could be worth a small fortune. A careful examination might just reveal that you've got a rare treasure on your hands, and that quarter you once considered insignificant could turn into something much more valuable. Thank you so much for joining us today as we explored the fascinating world of the 1980 United States quarter dollar. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the world of rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated on all of our future discoveries. Until next time, happy collecting, and keep your eyes peeled for those hidden treasures in your coin jar.